All right. Hello, my beautiful creative creatures. We're back again with another weekend. This is going to be a little longer, so I'll probably put into two parts. And you let me know what you think. Uh, Still learning about this company. Don't like the ideas. It's no different than learning about Elamir, except it's not a yellow strip. So, you let me know what you think, and let's get started.
It's fun talking about yourself. It's always better than somebody else to your own horn. It's a weird thing. Okay, so when people ask me what the bullet points are, as what is my ABCs? I'm a practitioner. I have 3 certifications in nutrition. I have a background in genetics. I am a formulator. I have a neuroendocrinology and anti-aging, so I do a lot with hormones. I have written a book. I have written for Oxygen Magazine, Max Muscle Magazine. I've done a lot in the fitness industry. I have lectured all over the world on health and wellness. I've served as vice president of product education and development for multiple network marketing companies, as well as formulated their products. I have 5 beautiful children, 10 beautiful grandchildren. I'm Duche certified, so I understand legally what you can and can't say about supplements. And Health and wellness has been my passion. Just basically, I've beat out my genetics. That's what my book is about. And I've studied genetics. Even when I formulate a lot of the things I do, I always look at some of the common genes that I see to make sure that you're never creating a genetic expression. And so, I don't know, this weight loss, I spent 3 years of my career, my first 3 years in nutrition, doing bariatrics. So I really understand weight loss. And so again, I've just done a lot of different things, and I love the industry just because I believe that it changes people's lives, not just physically, but on an emotional growth, personal growth, and financially. So I was excited about this product because I do work with a lot of women that have hormonal issues. And when they, we in the hormonal realm, you hear people talk about a lot of the other different hormones, but you hear very little about leptin and almost nothing about adiponectin. So
Right.
this was fascinating to me. And even I'm noticing as I'm working with people the effects on other hormones. And so it's really fascinating actually. Clinically, I mean, I wish I had more time to be in a clinic, and I know what
Right.
studies I would run and what I would test and how often I
Mhm.
would test it, but it's fascinating. That's all I know.
Well, that was fabulous. And I know a lot of people are chatting below saying that they are super impressed. And I know you're a super humble person, but that is a pretty extensive background. And thank you for sharing that with everyone because most people don't know it's their first time meeting you. So let's hop in. So, what is normal fat loss?
Well, the thing is and fat loss it's interesting. We hear people talk about weight loss, and for me, whenever I do weight loss in my nutrition program, I always focus on fat loss. Weight loss is you're losing some muscle, you're losing some water, you're losing some
Right.
fat. That's not good. I'm all about fat loss. There's a lot of what I call skinny fat people walking around, meaning they have high body fat, and that's really important. Is you're as healthy as you are what your body fat is. So I don't care what I weigh. I want to know where my lean body mass is. And I'm not a fan of the scale. And I would encourage everyone doing this program to not weigh themselves.
Yes.
If you're addicted, do it once a week. Otherwise, use a tape measure because that's the real test.
Yes.
And fat loss, fat takes up 5 times the space of muscle. So when you lose a pound of fat, the inches that you lose are dramatic. And on a good program, when I'm working with people, you should lose anywhere from a half a pound to 2 pounds a week. And it depends if you're male or female. Males usually lose more than females do.
Yes.
But if you're on a good program, and this is the big thing I want to say, and it's almost like a whole thing that I'm really want to get out to my team is back to your setting the expectation. This is not a magic pill. Those don't exist. I'm going to tell you that I've been doing weight loss for 25 years. I've worked in the fitness industry for 6 years, had top fitness models on Muscle and Fitness magazine. There is no magic pill. There just isn't. They have tools. And the beauty of this tool is it's a tool that's safe and effective. Unlike, I mean, when I worked clinically, we used phentermine and diethylpropion, which have been around for a long time for appetite suppression. Downside is when you can only use those for a few months, and they have side effects because they are medication. And
Right.
even with the current thing that's out, a lot of people are using the diabetic medication. I ask everyone when they do it, I'm just like, have you looked at the side effects? And they're like, no. I said, you need to look at those immediately. And the side effects are quite scary. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because everyone I know that goes off of it instantly gains their weight back because they
Wow.
don't understand that these are tools. They are to help you to create a healthy lifestyle. You don't get to take anything and then eat whatever you want. The goal is to create a lifestyle. And how powerful that is. And let me just share this.
But the damaging aspect to a lot of these health and wellness companies is the fact that they never let you, in reality, have any type of enjoyment. So if you want to enjoy something that you like, they demonize you for doing that. And then they say you ruin your whole diet. Therefore, dieting is dangerous, especially in MLMs. That's why I highly recommend not doing them. They're dangerous. The people don't know all the time what they're talking about, so that's a problem. And yeah, it's just it's not helpful.
Story with you. Everyone in my immediate family is sick or dead. And my dad had psoriasis that covered 75% of his body, had 2 cancers, died at 57. My dad was morbidly obese almost his entire life. My mom
Wow.
was morbidly obese. She had Crohn's disease, had 50 major operations, had battled cancer in her life. And she died at 72 from complications to Crohn's. And she had a bag for the last 34 years of her life. My sister, morbidly obese, also had Crohn's disease. She died at 47 from complications from Crohn's. My brother, he's had 23 major operation, also has Crohn's disease, has a bag. He lives on Oxycontin and THC. He has no quality of life. I have a different quality of life. Why? I feel like I'm 40, even though I'm not. And I don't have any of the things. Those genes are in my genetics. I've gone through my
Right.
genes quite extensively, but I made
Right.
different choices. I chose a healthy lifestyle because I knew at a young age I didn't want to be like my mom that was sick all the time.
Right.
They ate garbage. They lived on soda pop. I don't do that. I ate very, very healthy.
Yeah.
And my brother says, well, you were lucky. I said, no, I made different choices. And
That's
this
right.
product is your opportunity to make different choices. You have a tool that's going to help.
All right, I'm already enraged that she's even bringing this up to her brother, though, because anytime scammers like this bring it to their family and guilt them to doing it because they say it's going to help them, when in reality it's just for them to make a buck, and they may say, oh, it's to help, but you don't know really how it's going to help. And if he feels better on what he's doing and he has a better quality of life, better, and maybe he does learn those things and takes a chance at being healthier living, he can do that, but he doesn't have to take your product to learn all that.
With hunger, and hormones are very powerful, and we'll address that. But something that actually works on that hormone to control that hunger so that you're able to make healthier choices and you're able to control portions. So this is a gift. It really is a gift that we have to have this because of the way it works. But healthy. This whole thing is, and the whole awakened vision of not just helping with the weight loss, but getting your mindset. Everybody has a different, I always ask them about their expectations. Where's your level of commitment? So they're giving you a tool for that as well. And then they're giving you a tool to help you to work out.
Yes.
And it helped people on all levels. So it's literally the whole package. And it's almost foolish for you to not take advantage of that. It's time to start making healthier choices because I'm telling you, when my dad died, and he had amazing insurance, the bills that he had to pay for his part of all the chemotherapy and stuff he went through, my mom ended up destitute. And I would tell everybody, you pay for it on one end or the other. You can pay for it in quality supplementation, or you can pay the medical establishment and have a
Or we have universal health care. And we don't have to pay any of this stuff. like the astronomical amount, universal healthcare covers this stuff. So there are options. We just don't have them here in the US. Universal healthcare would make a difference. That's the answer. Because if we do, we would have a lot more freedom, and we wouldn't worry about bills, and most people wouldn't sacrifice their health over not giving up food that they need to eat every week or every month. There is plenty of reasons why people want to use this excuse, especially in MLMs. The reason is our healthcare system and the way that's run sucks, in my opinion. It's horrible. There's no reason to charge people to have a baby, because I had two. To charge them to have a baby, and for a daily checkup at the doctor's office, or even if you go to an OBGYN, like for me, when I have to get all my womanly stuff, like, that should not cost you anything. Shouldn't. And if it does cost you something, it should cost you very little. So that's my issue. My issue isn't this excuse of choose one or the other. Like, choose my scammy product or go with the place that's going to make you poor. How about none of them be the reason? Just saying, none of them have to be the reason.
Life. You get to choose, but you will pay. And for me, I've chosen to pay, and I've supplemented for years, and it has served me well.
Amen. That was so good. Everybody's fired up. Let's get to the next question, because this is a big one, and we've heard this question. Can you gain weight on Zenith?
No, you can't. So let me explain. You have one of three things that's going on if you're gaining weight. Number one, this product has 0 calories. It's fiber. It's 0 calories. You cannot take 0 calories and gain weight. It's
Right.
It's biologically and biochemically impossible. Okay, can't happen. But what could happen is this. This is fiber, and a lot of people's bodies don't know what to do with fiber. Most
Right.
people, they're eating fast food all the time. They're eating things out of boxes and packages. I hardly ever eat anything out of a box or a package, and I don't eat anything out of a can either.
That's
You know
right.
what? You give your body.
This also is starting to sound very not ableist. I don't want to say ableist, but like entitled a little, and as if people in this country don't struggle with money issues. Like, not money issues in the fact that, like, in some way that we're, like, say as a millennial, we're irresponsible with money. No. It's because inflation and things are hard to buy, and therefore people have to go to food pantries. I had to do food pantry for a long time. We still get food pantry stuff now and then too, but it's never a bad thing. But to demonize people for getting canned fruits and canned vegetables, they have the same nutritional value as any whole whole food or fruit that you buy at the store. It's not different. So, and even frozen's still good. So I'm not sure what she's talking about. This is not a good rhetoric to share, because you're automatically sounding very entitled and very much better than everyone else who can't afford those things. Not everybody can afford that, and it's not because they're irresponsible either. Please stop with this, in my opinion. This is dangerous and damaging and hurtful for people that struggle.
Real food and everything, and it knows what to do with it. All these things in packages that are full of chemicals, your body doesn't know what to do with that, and it creates problems. So what happens is some people may experience some constipation. This fiber is very it needs a lot of water. It needs a lot. I usually drink a glass of water before I do my fiber, my product, and then I do a glass afterwards to make sure that I have plenty of it. And so if you're not eliminating it every day, and we're going to come back to that as well, but if you're not eliminating every day, you're going to gain weight. The other thing that can happen is people are not paying attention to what they're eating, and they're eating more. And I will tell you this, a lot of people, it was interesting. I created one of the very first exogenous ketone products. And, I was helping different people and doing troubleshooting. And I start to ask women, and I even do that with my group. The first thing I ask them when they say, well, I'm not losing, I want to see what you ate the last 2 days. And I usually see one of two things. One, they don't eat enough calories. If your caloric intake is below 1,200 calories a day, it's going to be pretty hard for you to lose. Your body thinks it's starving. It's going to hang on to everything that you eat. So you want to know exactly, and you can use my fitness pal or anything and just put in what you ate. See how many calories you're eating a day. But if you're eating less than that, you're gonna not you won't lose weight. And the thing is you can't just jump up to that. So I'll give you one of my tips that I give everyone is you have to very slowly increase your food. And the closer you get to a 500 calorie deficit of what your metabolic burn is, then your body will let go of it. And I've done this time and time and time again, and it always works. And if you want to know what your metabolic burn is, I'm huge for heart rate monitors. I use that in a lot of the training and stuff that I do. And you wear it for 24 or just a little bit less than 24 because it'll reset at 24, but it'll tell you how many calories. And you want to do it on a day that you're sitting around. So you want to know, okay, what's my base metabolic rate or what am I burning? And then you subtract 500 calories from that. If you exercise, you have to calculate that in as well. And so you have to make sure that your caloric intake. The other issue I see is people's caloric intakes are too high. And so again, you need to, if you're not losing, you got to go investigate and find out, well, what's going on. And it is amazing, not all calories are created equal. If you're going to eat a donut, and it has say 120 calories in that donut, and then you eat a bunch of vegetables and fruit and everything of the same amount of calories, the body is going to take more energy to burn the real food versus the simple food that it literally does to do nothing. So you want to make sure that you're choosing foods that the body actually has to work. And a lot of times people will say, they get so addicted to their sugar. And it's funny when I take them off of it and then they go back like 3 weeks later, they try to eat it. It's like sickening sweet. And so you have to look at those things that you're eating. And then I'll tell you another thing that's really important for weight loss is how well are you sleeping? Sleep is really important. There was a study that was done, and what they found is people that don't sleep well at night, they end up eating an additional 400 calories the next day. And what they found in the study was that people are hungry or because their body's looking for energy because it's fatigued. And so, in order for your body to let go of weight, it needs rest. That takes work for what it's doing, especially if you're exercising. So, sleep is really important, and a lot of people don't realize that. So, there are different reasons I always go, and even hormonals. Now, and I will address this. And like I said, I've seen some interesting things. It's very fascinating to me, but I'm such a why person. Why is this doing this? And so, I really think that as we understand from the study that we know it affects leptin. That's a hormone. We know it affects adiponectin, another hormone. We also know from that study that it improved what they call a T4 to T3 conversion. T4 is your inactive part of your thyroid. T3 is your active. That's your metabolism. That's your body's ability to burn fat. I would say that 70% of the blood tests I look at for thyroid have poor conversion. And it's hard to find out how to get it to convert over. So it was fascinating to me finding out that, gee, when you balance the leptin, you're also fixing the gut because anyone that has Hashimoto's has a gut issue. So you're getting a balance there. And so again, these are all tethered and tied together. Now, because they're tethered and tied together, there might be an adjustment period where your body's like, okay, we're trying to balance all this out, and you have to be patient. And I'll share just a short little story. When I was in my early to mid 50s, I had a hysterectomy, and I hadn't gone into menopause yet. But my estrogen was starting to dip, and so I started replacing it. Well, after I had that done, and I have a gene that my body burns through estrogen, and so I went to a specialist, and I had to get my estrogen up. And again, and I needed it for a lot of reasons, just because my joints, a lot of things, the problems that when you have low estrogen were showing up. Well, that period of time that I went through, which was 6 to 9 months, and I have the knowledge I still had to be talked off of a cliff because I put on 15 pounds. I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get back to normal and everything? My body was adjusting. But what was crazy is literally in a matter of days, once I got to the appropriate number, I dropped the weight immediately. Like in a matter of a couple of days, it just dropped off me. And then the other thing that was fascinating, again, because they're all tethered and tied together, I'd been on thyroid medication for 12 years. I no longer needed that. The estrogen supported my adrenals. which also helps with thyroid function. And then, oh, I haven't been on it for 6 or 7 years. And so, again, these hormones are trying to regulate themselves. And the more out of balance you are, and the higher your levels are, your adiponectin, the longer it could take. And you have to be patient. And if I had quit doing what the doctor had told me to do, I would not have arrived where I arrived. And I was so grateful that I stuck with it. And I would encourage you, like, if you haven't seen something in the first couple of months, be patient. Because
Yes.
again, this is working on a lot of different things. It's not just um, giving you fiber that makes you feel full. And we're going to get into that as well. But I'm just encouraging you that, again, there's a lot of things going on. And you need to, especially in the hormone family, you got to be patient and let it adjust. And sadly, I wish I could say, when I see someone that has low estrogen or low progesterone, that you, oh, 1 month you can bring it up. No, you can't. It takes months to get your stuff regulated properly.
Absolutely. I really would like to see a 20-minute module that gets emailed to every person who buys the product, so that they go through like a 20-minute overview of what to expect, what the expectation is, to set the intention, know what to do, how to do it. Because I really believe, even for Scott and I know you and I have talked, Michelle, but Scott and I are 5.5 months now on the product. And 3 months in, even though I came out of the gates just amazing, 3 months in, I started messing with the dosage. Oh, what if I take a little more? What if I take a little less? I got ravenously hungry, taking too much of it. Threw myself off, was playing around with it just because I'm going, let's just see. Maybe I'll lose more weight if I take more. I highly suggest you don't do that. But what I will tell you is, when we stopped eating clean and stopped doing what we normally do, 90% of our meals are whole foods, no gluten, carbs, no starchy junk. It was incredible, Michelle. Our weight loss stopped. Instantly stopped. Gained 4 pounds the next month. Now, mind you, 4 pounds would have been 10 or 12 for me without Zenith, but 4 pounds got me mad. But I also wasn't lying to myself. I knew I was eating whatever I wanted. Okay. Sugary stuff when I wanted it. Still wasn't eating a lot of, meaning volume of it, because the Zenith was helping me to feel more full. But I was not following the clinical for a bit with Scott. We both stalled out, and then we gained a little, and then we went, clearly this isn't magic, because you get excited. Right. You're like, it's coming off so fast. I guess I could just eat what I want and just pop these pills. Nope. I'm being really raw and honest, guys. I'm one of the owners of the company. I went back to low carb, moderate protein, very low starchy carbs, lots of healthy, good carbs, right? Lots of veggies, lots of salads.
Yes.
And I have to say, and we still drink water a lot. We're big.
Do they not realize that fruit is also a carb? Fruit is also a carb. That's not bad to have. I don't know why they're demonizing fruit so much either. It's kind of questionable when people in these MLMs start also telling you that you can't have fruit or drink it. Your body does need sugar. You do know that, right?
Water people. We wear pedometers because we both work from home. We have a decent sized house, but Scott will walk around the island, walk through the living room. We have an open floor plan to make sure we get in our steps. When we do that, man, do our bodies shift and change. And I just want to make sure everyone understands. I was stuck for over a decade, miserable with the weight I have on it. Some would come off, some would go back on. I never have had a product, or a tool, I should say, that has assisted me in such an easy fashion. Yes, it's being recorded. Someone asked. And why I want people to understand this is, if I've been on it this long and my body is still changing every week, something different is going on. More muscle. We both have so much more muscle. He's 51, I'm 48. We have more tone. We have less jiggle. We aren't working out like crazy. We're just moving, we're hydrating, and we're watching our diet. That is all we're doing. And we're consuming Zenith the way we're supposed to. And I want to make sure, because we have some other questions, that you don't set an expectation with people that they can eat whatever they want and just pop some Zenith and life is good. It does take time for the body to heal and get back to where it needs to be. Everything Michelle is saying is so spot on. I do want to touch on one thing, Michelle, that the formulator told me that is very in alignment with what you said. If you're getting you feel like you're putting on weight and getting bloated in the beginning. Most people are fiber deficient in their diet. Their bodies don't even know what to do. And so what the fiber does in the gut, it sits there. If you're not drinking enough water at first, you really need to do 8 glasses a day with this product in the beginning to really get hydration. Most people are chronically dehydrated, don't even know it. And that's another reason why people can't lose weight. So we always push good, healthy water in our house. But with that said, she said fiber will grab onto water and you'll retain water because the fiber is sitting there looking for water. So if someone says they're gaining weight, they're not gaining fat. You can't gain weight from Zenith. It has no calories. It's just viscous fibers and fatty acids. But what it can do is grab onto water and hoard it. And so when I've told people, push your water, take less of the fiber, meaning do the 2 pills instead of 4, they'll the next day or the day after, they go, look at, I'm losing weight. Everything's moving now. I'm going to the bathroom. Great. That's what you all need to know. It is not putting weight on. It is the body going, what is going on with all this fiber and how do I get it to move?
Well, and another thing is you have to ask people, when you share this product with someone, one of the first questions you should ask them is, how does your body respond to lentils, beans? And for some people, it's even raw vegetables, because I have a lot of people, when they eat raw vegetable, they just blow up. Well, that's because their body can't break down fiber. It doesn't. They can't break down the cellulose. And so when that happens, these are people that should open up their capsule and they should start with a smaller amount. Some people can start with 1 pill with 2 meals.
Yes.
But there are going to be some people, and I've had things like this in the past, where they might only need a half a pill. They have to slowly titrate up until they get to where their body can do it. And I know for me, again, and I've done a lot of things on my gut, again, because I have all that Crohn's in my family. So I've been very meticulous about my gut. But even then, I still had an adjustment period. And for my body, and again, you need to listen to what's best for you. There'll be a basic recommendation. They recommend you, if you're taking the pills, you take them with lots and lots of water, 30 minutes before a meal, and then have your meal.
Yes.
If you do have any form of digestion, then you need to open your pills. I mix, I have different things that I put on mine. Sometimes I just sprinkle it on food. And then I usually drink a glass of water before I take my Zenith, and then I drink a glass of water after. And then I usually wait 10 or 15 minutes, and then I go ahead and I eat. And again, everybody's body is different. Like Danielle shared last time that, for her, she almost feels better when she does it an hour later.
Yes.
For me, I do better when I have it 10 or 15 minutes. I feel more full, and it carries me through way longer. If I wait 30 minutes to an hour, for me, I actually get hungry. So again, if you're noticing little things, there is no one size fits all. I'm just going to tell you that the longer I've been practicing and doing nutrition, the more convinced I am there is no one size fits all. And then after studying genetics, I understand why. And so that's why if you're not seeing results, you need to start paying attention to how your body feels and see, well, let's try this or shift this way and find what works for your body. And again, that is one of the biggest problems we deal with in life right now is nobody's in tune with their body. My body, I know something within a few minutes, this isn't going to work, or, my body loves this. And you need to get to that point, because in order for you to have the quality of life that you want, you're going to have to do that. And those of us that are older, I tell you, when you get into your 50s and your 60s, it's a whole nother game, and you better be taking care of yourself. Like I said, this is a gift and it is a tool. Take advantage of it.
Thank you. This is gold. Why am I not losing anything? I think we've answered, we've given some reasons, but let's hit on it a little deeper.
Well, again, what are you eating? And again, I'm not a fan of boxes and packages. I want to eat real food. We need to shift our mindset that food is fuel. It's not a reward system. And if a lot of people too, and this is another thing that I try to explain to people is we store all of our emotions in our fat cells. We also store all of our toxins there. So if you have emotional things you have not taken care of, you need to address them, because you need to work with someone that can clear that stuff. And it is amazing, as I've worked with different people, and part of my training is working with emotional stuff and clearing things. But your body will let go of things. But we tend to carry those things. They don't serve us, and it's time for you to let go of them. And so it's very, very important to address those kinds of things, that if you haven't, that could be why you're doing it. And I'm going to tell you right now, you need to shift your focus from I need to lose weight to I want a strong body and I have a healthy body. Myself, even with all the knowledge I have, when I put my mindset there, and especially as I get older, I'm realize how important, you realize how important lean muscle mass is. It's very,
Yes.
very crucial. And one of the things I've loved about this product, and I'm very attention to detail, like even with Danielle's pictures, I noticed in everybody else's, I've loved the way this product has affected visceral fat. And if you
Yes.
go in and look at all the before and after pictures, you'll notice that their visceral fat is more compact. You don't see as much cellulite. Their skin looks better. So
Tighter.
there's an effect there going on with this product. And that's another thing that I do love about it. But your expectation, like I said, you need to start having your mindset needs to be, I need to be strong and I need to be healthy so I can have a great quality of life. And you putting garbage in your body is not going to do that. Another thing too, you got to watch out is how often are you eating out? There's so many hidden things in eating out. Like I just drove to California and I just drove back. I pack my food. I never eat out. I just don't. It's not my thing. I don't like it. It's not healthy for my body.
The fact that they connect automatically that fast food equals bad when there's plenty of fast options in a lot of ways, or even not really like fast, but like takeout options that are healthy and good for you. So you can't demonize all fast food as being bad. Granted, we haven't had fast food. Well, no, we've had fast food a couple times at least every week, but normally not like a lot. At least 2 times a week. We have it. But outside of that, we've been cooking at home more often and using the food we have at home because we had it and we needed to use it. So, yeah, that's made us more productive in making sure the food that we get when we buy it goes to good use and eating it and not just getting fast food when we want it. Granted, is it good? Yes, it's not bad. It's food. We need food to survive. So, to demonize it is irritating.
And for the amount of time it takes me to throw some stuff together, it's worth it for me to just have my food with me. And even when I spoke all over the world, I would pack certain foods that, I have my protein drink that I like and everything, so that I'm not eating garbage. So that's a question: is if you're eating out a fast food daily,
Right.
you're not going to lose weight. Sorry, you're just not.
You're just not.
The other issue you have to look at is how much alcohol are you consuming? I am shocked at the amount of alcohol people consume. I don't think there's a problem with someone having a glass of wine or at a celebration, that's fine. But if you drink alcohol every day, there's something going on. And people don't realize that alcohol is the highest insulin responding food. If you are leptin resistant, you're going to be insulin resistant. Anyone that's type 2 diabetic, you're insulin resistant, you're leptin resistant. I mean, the two go hand in hand. So you may have to find a way to just say, okay, I'm just going to have one glass of wine a week. If that's something that is important to you, and for some people it is, then do is just say, I'm just going to have one glass a week. And especially if you're serious about getting your health back on track and losing weight. And then, like I said, back to sleep. You have to make sure you're getting sleep. Another thing too that's really important is, what is your stress level like? If you have high cortisol because you're just stressed out all the time, make sure you're using an adrenal support. If you exercise, use adrenal support. Do some things, because that can be part of the reason, and it has nothing to do that Zenith isn't keeping you from losing weight, is your cortisol is so high that your body is not letting it go. And people don't understand, when you are stressed out, the adrenals release cortisol. Then the liver responds with glucose, and then the pancreas responds with insulin. So when that all happens, you don't even have to be eating anything bad. You're going to gain midsection weight, and you're like, I'm not really eating, and you're wondering why. So you have to find stress management. It's very, very important. So those are some of the reasons. And again, please set people's expectation. This is a journey. You need to figure out what your level of commitment is, and then you need to start making changes to your nutrition and your lifestyle, and make sure that you're moving and you're eating to have a healthy body. Because one of my mottos that I teach in my weight loss for thing is, you get the body you earned. I have the
That's
body I have at my age because I earned it. And anyone that's sitting here complaining you don't like your body, you're unhappy, then you look at your lifestyle and just say, okay, I earned this. What do I want to do different so I have a different result?
That's right. Such a great mindset. Has the formula changed? Meaning the beta testers that we had, is that bottle that we gave out, is that different formula than what we have now?
No, it's not. And some people have said the label's different, the ingredients look different. So my current job is right now is I am the vice president of product education, research and development for a nano nutraceutical company. So what I do is I get to work with some really fun, cutting edge nano-sized particles that go instantly into your body, and I get to help formulate supplements. So I love what I do. I work with biochemists every single day. Part of my
I think the funniest takeaway right now from this is the fact that she's like, I don't eat boxed foods because of chemicals, but you also say you work in biochemistry. You're working on chemicals too. So I'm not really sure what the takeaway is, except for it just sounds really laughable, in my opinion, because it's kind of funny.
job is we're looking at ingredients all the time. And when you go in and look at viscous polysaccharides, there's 5 different names that you can find it under. There's different ones. When they redid the label, they just chose one of the different names. But and also depending the manufacturer that you buy it from. So each one, like us even buying something as simple as stevia, there's like we have 10 different ones, and they all have a little bit different name, but it's all stevia. And but legally, because you have to, we have a compliance department, and the FDA has 12 pages of required information that goes on a label. And so they will tell, we have to go over that, and it has to be labeled a particular way legally. Otherwise, it's a $125,000 fine. So, Awakened, as they're putting this together, and also the manufacturer, we have to look at things and say, and depending on everything, and choose the appropriate names. And so,
Right.
and the FDA is changing things all the time. So it can be the exact same ingredient, but they've decided to call it this, and that's what you have to put on the label. So
100%.
the ingredients are exactly the same. And one other thing I want to say about this product that's really fascinating to me, like I said, I love working with biochemists every single day. Is I asked him about it. I said, okay, so we've got viscous polysaccharides because they're on there, and then you have the fatty acids. And so I asked the biochemist, I said, is this just fibers and thing? And they're like, no, let me tell you what this guy did. So basically, the formulator, and that's why it's patented, he figured out the specifics, viscous fibers, and the specific polysaccharides that when he put them together, and more than likely when they manufacture this product, the sequence that things are placed in the manufacturing process will determine the outcome, which is why nobody can just take this product. And like I said, I have biochemists and they couldn't copy it.
That's correct.
Again, it's because he figured out something that, which is going to lead into this next question. So I'm going to kind of lead into this, if it's okay, Danielle.
Yeah.
Is this a product, this fiber, is it just, making you feel full and that's all it does? No, that is not what it does. Yes, we get the benefit of feeling full, but because of the way that he put this together, there's actually a signaling system. So when you're dealing with hormones, you got to remember, hormones are your messaging system. It's like FedEx and UPS. Their job is to get the package to the right building or receptor. That's their actual job. And so this product is affecting that messaging system. So we know, because of the effect that leptin has, that there's a feedback loop. So again, we know when leptin is high, okay, I'm hungry, you eat more, you get more fat cells. Your fat cells send out a signal saying, hey, slow down the burn. We're starving. And then you go back to increasing more leptin, and the cycle keeps going. So in that feedback loop, the way he sequenced this together affected that loop. And that's why we're seeing the effects. And that's why I believe that it's affecting multiple hormones in the body. And in the end, will create a really nice balance.
That was brilliant. I just want to touch on something that's not on our list of questions today, which is, can we just talk about how little people know in Zenith, how powerful it is that adiponectin does things to the body that leptin does not? Can we just talk about how powerful it is and how deficient?
As for listening to them, it sounds like the same companies just praising things that even chia mid can be like the same compound but renamed, which is odd. But the phrasing is always the same. The praising of it is always the same. It's never surprise. The fact that they think they're doing something big and astronomical is beyond me. I don't get it.
Women are doubly as deficient. So men have naturally more adiponectin than women. However, if you're an overweight man, you're deficient. If you're an overweight female, you're doubly as deficient as a male. And so when you see men lose weight quicker, put on muscle faster, they naturally have more adiponectin, right? Genetically. However, what I am fascinated with, Michelle, that I want you to touch on is, how is it possible at 48 that I have more lean muscle? I have people saying, look, Danielle, the scale hasn't moved, Danielle, but look at my photos. I look radically different. Let's talk about the shift over from the fat on the body going away, but the muscle taking over, because Scott and I are blown away by how toned we're becoming as the months go on.
You know, it's been fascinating. I had a girl that I started on this, and she did a bunch of measurements and stuff, like on with body fat. And so she reached out to me and she said, I haven't lost anything, but I've dropped 3% body fat. That's a lot of body fat. And she's still frustrated. And I'm like, you got to remember, this takes time. You don't drop body fat. The most amount of body fat that people lose at a time is usually about 2% or 2 pounds. That's it. You can't lose that in a month. You're lucky if you lose 10 pounds of body fat a month. So it is. And even like you said, that I found fascinating. Yeah, you've heard people talk about leptin. No one ever talks about adiponectin. In all my hormone training, I'd not heard much about that. I had to go do my own research and look it up. But again, that hormone is so important for your body to say, okay, here's your healthy body weight. And that's another thing is, people, you're going to go and you're going to go along, you'll lose, and then you hit a plateau. Your body is trying to level and adjust for all the things you just changed. And then what will happen if you stay the course is then it'll do another run. It'll hit another plateau. And your body is trying to re-regulate your fat thermostat or your set point. And some of us have set points, like when you get down to, I don't have that much weight to lose. But for me, and I feel like all the weight I do want to lose is I want fat gone. And that's, the closer you get to a healthy body weight, the harder it's going to be. But it is going to take more effort. So if you don't have a lot of weight to lose, your diet's going to have to be tighter. You're going to have to exercise. But it is, when you go and look at that study, and the fact, and I found that fascinating when they shared that with us, is the fact that most people, when they lose body fat, they usually lose some muscle. You don't hear about people keeping their muscle or increasing their muscle, which is what the study showed. Usually you see the fat loss, a little bit of muscle loss. You don't see that. So the fact that raising that adiponectin is having that effect on helping you to maintain lean muscle mass or increase it is just crazy. It's just, and again, nobody ever talks about adiponectin. That is such a, like I said, I'd never heard about it until nobody really talked about it much in all my hormone training. It was all about all the other things. Like I said, and even on leptin, it was barely hit because up until this point, nobody had a way to resolve it.
Well, I am super excited about adiponectin. To me, and this is just my personal opinion, and I know there's a bunch of people who are going to put this in the chat, those have been on it, that were on it when they beta tested, know exactly what I'm talking about. The tightness I feel in my body, I'm actually starting to jog and do HIIT training on a treadmill now, and I haven't been able to do that for years, where I felt really strong. I was blown away the other day. I'm on a new treadmill that actually like brings you, it's kind of like a Peloton, but it does the same thing where it gives you your workouts and challenges you and checks your heart rate. It's super cool. I'm on it going, I can't believe I'm running and don't feel everything moving around. I feel tighter. I had someone post on the company page that as she's walking up the stairs, she feels so much tighter. And this is a woman in her 50s who has been self-conscious for most of the last 10 years of her life. And I know exactly what I'm seeing happen is the downside for people is they're so stuck on the scale. What they're not understanding is that muscle going on the body not only helps with metabolic rate, right? Because we naturally lose at least half a pound of muscle a year as we age,
Right.
which lowers the metabolic burn, which means you can't consume as many calories, which means you really aren't going to look like you used to. When you're putting on muscle with Zenith, it's assisting you, right? Because of the hormonal balance that it's doing.
Yep.
It's targeting the adiponectin, which to me is the yin and yang. You've got the leptin, serum leptin coming down.
Right.
Makes you feel satisfied, makes you feel more balanced. I don't care about food as much. I don't even need sweets. And if I do,
That just sounds dangerous anyway, just hearing that, where she's like, I don't really care about food as much when our body needs food. It's okay to eat and to constantly make yourself sacrifice things you like in the name of what people deem healthy in these MLMs is beyond me. Beyond me.
I can eat something lightly and not gorge. I love that. But the flip side that I think we need to talk about more is the tightness. Scott and I literally are blown away as the months go on.
Do you know why I think that's happening? Is it really interesting? I've had two of my people that I've run their blood work since they've been on Zenith. A healthy testosterone where I want to see a woman is no greater than 70. Unfortunately, there's too many doctors doing testosterone therapy and they don't realize how bad that is for a woman because we're not testosterone creatures.
Right.
But what's crazy, and I think again, it comes back to this adjusting period, but their testosterones were coming back at 300 and 400. That's a man. So there's this jump in testosterone that is naturally happening. And again, I think it will all regulate it out. Again, you've got systems moving. They're pulling and tethering, and we've got to adjust here. Now we got to adjust here. And I believe that's all going on. And, I'm going to do more and more blood work with people I can because I want to watch this. It's fascinating. Even myself, I'm going to go do another blood test tomorrow. I want to see, in the last 6 weeks, what's happened with my adiponectin, my level. I want to check my estrogen and testosterone and see where things are going. But there's definitely something going on with the testosterone on how it's affecting it. And it is going up. And that is really, testosterone is very important for muscle. I mean, and that's another thing is even with losing weight, when your testosterone goes up and you're getting more muscle, you're not going to lose weight. You're going to be more solid, more dense.
Yes.
The scale is not going to reflect what's really going on. So, like I said, it's fascinating. I would love it to be able to do a study on this because it's so fascinating to me, all the things I'm seeing and all the hormones that are being affected. And again, I believe that it's shifting everything into balance.
And women, let's talk about women and testosterone. I started having the testosterone pellet about 3-4 years ago, because even though I was on a hormonal gel, an HGH gel, it was wonderful. I was still deficient as a female in testosterone in my blood test. My cholesterol is great. My blood, everything was looking good. Even my thyroid was looking much better, right? All my numbers. And what crazy was when I got the testosterone, I went, oh my gosh, my crushing fatigue is gone. So if you're fatigued as a woman and you haven't gotten your testing done for your hormone panel, you should if you're aging. And another thing is libido goes up. If you feel like you have no libido, chances are it's actually your low testosterone as a female.
Well, and it isn't just that. Testosterone for women, it isn't just for libido. It's for muscle. It's for your hair. If your testosterone low, your hair is going to fall out.
Right.
And so there's so many things that testosterone does beyond libido. Again, it's about balance. It's the same thing with estrogen and progesterone. They all have their role, and it's keeping them in a healthy range. And that's what, again, and our goal too is to let's bring leptin into range. Let's bring adiponectin, which I believe is going to balance some of these other hormones that women struggle with. Because I will tell you, I am seeing, in my generation, we didn't go into menopause till we were in our 50s. I'm seeing 30-year-olds, people
Right.
from between 30 and 39 that are either perimenopausal or
Yes.
full-blown menopause. When you go into menopause that young, it is very
Menopause? You mean menopause?
healthy. So you are putting yourself at risk for things. You don't want that. And we have so many things in our environment that are affecting our hormones, which
Yes.
I believe even is contributing to the leptin adiponectin issue, that the more you can do things to get them in a balanced range naturally without having to supplement. I mean, you will get to an age like me, I do have to supplement that, but I don't want to see, I never want to see anyone under 50 having to replace their hormones if they don't have to. If there's something out of balance in your system.
Well, that's a little bit problematic to say because there's plenty of reasons why people have irregular hormones, and it's not because of perimenopause or whatever. It could be thyroid, like thyroid problems. It could be, I don't know if endometriosis, because I think I struggle with that. I don't know if that is part of it, but to say that, why? Why say that?
And you need to re-regulate.
It is so important, everything you're saying. I have two more things I want to touch on, and this has been super valuable. When we have someone, and we see a lot of this, women, some men, but mostly women, who only have 5, 6, 8, 10 pounds of fat to lose. And to me, they're thin, they're fabulous, right? To me. To you, you say the same thing, but they go, no, I really need this product. And listen, I don't judge. But there are women using it going, why am I ravenously hungry? Why am I putting on weight? I've seen a handful of women lower the dose because they're not leptin resistant.
Right.
Okay, they're not. You don't have a ton of fat on. The more fat on the body, the more leptin resistant you are. So I'm watching this, and I'm not a medical professional. Let me be very clear. I'm just watching the data pour in. And these women are going, I lowered the dose, and all of a sudden I'm not ravenously hungry. Some of them have gained weight, but guess what? Even Dr. Rimka
Muscle.
put a post up and said, I'm like, I don't know, she was 8 or 9 pounds heavier than when she started Zenith.
Right.
She puts on a size 4 suit that I remember her being in a couple of years ago when we worked together. And she said, look, it's loose. Why? Because she put on muscle. So yep. Just be careful when it's someone who really doesn't, they're not leptin resistant, but they want to have an assist, like Michelle said, a tool to lose a little bit of body fat. They have to have an expectation that it's not going to come off as fast because it's the last fat.
It'll take months. And you know what? This product goes way beyond weight loss. I mean, again, we're talking about, the study showed we have so many people that have leaky gut. It's not even funny. And what I'm finding with it is it's actually it's almost creating like a detoxification, and is helping like with almost like a prebiotic where it's helping to heal the leaky gut. And when that happens, so many other things are going to work good in your body. And I've noticed, I've had some people say, well, I'm having, breakout or thing. Well, your body's detoxing. Yes. So I believe that there's a detox effect going on here as it's cleaning things out, which moves into another thing I want to say, again, constipation. We've had people that have, a lot of women. Well, when I worked bariatrics, 70%, and I'd say it's worse now, I'd probably say it's up to 80, 85% of women are constipated. They might go to the bathroom once a week. We actually had stuff in the clinic all the time, a natural product that I found for the owner, and that we would give people. We put them on it because when they start eating real food and they're not eating garbage or tons of sugar that's causing the bowels to be like laxative, they would get constipated. Well, what you don't realize is for every day that you don't eliminate, you leach toxins into your bloodstream. And where do we store our toxins, ladies? In our fat cells. So if you are not getting up in the morning and going to the bathroom at least once a day, I encourage you to start out with 200 milligrams of magnesium. If you don't get up the next morning and you have to go, move it to 400 and keep moving it up until you go to the bathroom. Now, you don't want diarrhea. So you find what works for your bowels. And what will happen is a healthy bowel movement is a 12-inch bowel movement or 4-inch bowel movements. And you'll find, and I've noticed that with this product, is not only we're
little bit graphic in the way of this, but okay. Interesting.
Bowel movements improve, but also the size of them, the diameter.
Right.
That means that you're cleaning out that colon, things are moving and getting out of you, and you're going to be a healthier person, and your colon is going to be a healthier place.
Yeah.
So if you're not eliminating it every day, that might be another question I would ask someone if they're starting is, do you struggle with eliminating daily? And if they say, yeah, I only eliminate hard, not very much. And then, I would encourage them to start with the magnesium as they start with their product as their body's trying to adjust. I'll tell you a story. I have one girl that I put on this product. I had started working with her years ago. She'd only go to the bathroom like once a week or once every couple weeks. And all her eliminating pathways were blocked. I had to open them. And I had to do some, drastic things to get the pathways open. But you know what? To this day, she can have an elimination every single day. And what's interesting, and I think Dr. Ricka talked about that, was she found with her patients that had SIBO that it was like grabbing this bacteria and taking it out, and that's a hard thing to fix, and she was seeing improvement. This girl, I put her on it, and she struggled to lose weight, and even the very first time I saw her, she was talking about her weight, and I could clearly look at her and go, yours is not fat, it's water. And it was interesting as we've done this and everything, the water that's come off of her. But even her, in a week or two, I could not believe the inches that she lost. And even she was saying too, talking about her skin, that her breasts were perkier. And she's like, okay, is this just an illusion? Here's the before thing. She's like, I'm noticing this. And I'm like, no, it's not an illusion. And so again, there's just so many benefits. You don't have to have a weight issue to use this product. There are definite benefits to it. You don't need as much. You might only need one pill a day, but there are definite benefits to using this product. And again, in order for this product to work properly, you have to be eliminating every single day. So like I said, I like magnesium. High doses of vitamin C will help with the same thing. Those are some natural things. You kind of want to stay away from laxatives because they're hard on the intestines, and a lot of them use propylene glycol, which is toxic to the liver. So not my favorite thing. So I found, most people are magnesium deficient. They don't realize that for every sugar molecule you put in your body, you rob the body of 52 molecules of magnesium. So we have a population that is extremely magnesium depleted. So you taking a bunch of magnesium is only going to help your body on so many levels.
So I need to answer a question because everyone's asking what kind of magnesium, and I'll have you give your favorite. My favorite is Mag 07, which is magnesium oxygen 7. I get it. We have it in the house everywhere. Scott and I travel with it. It is an oxygenated magnesium that is absolutely fabulous. And a few days a week, when I know I can tell something's up, I go to bed, I take 2, sometimes 3, and it is an amazing thing. You eliminate in the morning, you're back on track. What she's saying is so important because there are people who are not, they're chronically dehydrated, chronically constipated. Then they get on our product, which is fiber. Someone's saying they take Mag 07 too. And it is a recipe for holding on to a lot of water and getting bloated and being more backed up. And so what would you say?
Still recommend you going to a doctor and talking to them about all the stuff just to make sure you're okay to do it. Just an FYI.
Michelle, is your favorite type of magnesium? People are saying, is it citrate? Is it this? Is it that?
Yeah, I usually use a mixture of magnesium citrate, because citrate has more of a laxative effect. I mean, when I really want magnesium in my body, I go nano or liposomal because that doesn't have the laxative. But the other one is a glycinate. Glycinate is really good. But what you're using, again, anything that's helping to get oxygen into the body, I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to check that out. But it's always good. Yeah, it's always good. And you want to take it before you go to bed at night. So the goal is, you do it like maybe a half hour before you go to bed. You drink, again, get lots of water in you. And then in the morning, you should want to go to the bathroom. And like I said, a healthy person wakes up in the morning and they have an elimination. That is normal. If you're not doing that, then you need to regulate your bowels. It'll make a difference in your health and your quality of life.
2 additional things. Gastric bypass as well as lap band, we have found that a ton of people are coming in having had these procedures many years earlier or even recently. And I have to say, those who we have talked to on the phone and consulted with for them and said, listen, you don't have the same digestion as someone who's never had this type of revisional surgery. And so we have had them lower their dose, increase their water, and they see great results. What would you say for those types of people?
They have to open the capsule again. You shorten the pathway, and again they hit the way their pouch works and everything like that. I would never take a capsule. In fact, most people that I work with that have had those surgeries, I usually use liquid stuff with them. Most of them don't break down the capsules. They just don't, because again,
Yeah.
their pathway has been altered. And so I would always open the capsule, and that's what I would do. And the thing is again, people have these surgeries, and this just statistically, okay, statistically, 86% of people that have these revisions gain their way back within 6 to 8 years.
Right.
So again, making lifestyle changes, and unfortunately a lot of people, when they have that surgery, they don't follow the lifestyle that the doctors have expressed for them, the important that they have to live it. And basically, if they would have done that to begin with, they probably wouldn't need the surgery, because their diet is mostly higher protein, you're eating vegetables, fruits, lower fat. If you ate that diet naturally, you'd be thin. But
Right.
unfortunately, everybody wants to eat all these high fat foods. They want to eat.
Coming from a thin person, why is thin the go-to? Because I would like to just be a little curvier, in my opinion. I don't see how being thin is a go-to ideal thing. I hate being told I'm skinny. Hate it. Hate it for years. And the one thing that people don't realize about skinny people, naturally skinny people like me, is a lot of times it creates like an eating disorder, like the opposite effect. You're like, oh, you're skinny, you're just naturally skinny, you don't do it. And like, you can be detrimental to their health in that way by making them think all the time about food in a way that is not healthy. So just because I'm skinny, I get it. I may not always be really that healthy. I'm working on it, and I do eat better, and I do eat well. Granted, I have the moments where I don't, but like I do eat well, and so I just don't like when people are like skinny. Skinny is the go-to, and I'm like, is it? It's not the go-to. Because skinny doesn't always guarantee healthy. Just saying. My genetics just determined I was skinny. I wish I was curvier. That's just me.
Fast food, they want to eat junk, and again, it hurts your body. Here's the reality: is when it comes to your health, you're never standing still. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. And every time you go to eat something, you need to have the mindset: is this taking me away from my goal that I want for health, or is it moving me towards it? And when you start to look at, let me share something. I have a coach I work with that does a lot of, he's a neuro-linguistic programmer. And so he talks about the mind and how the words we say and things like that either move us forward or stop us from doing things. And he talked about food and diets. And he said, if we called things what they really were, we would make different choices. And I loved what he shared. His name is Michael Burnoff. Look him up. He's an amazing coach. But he was saying, for example, you have three kinds of food. Most of us think of food and we're like, okay, that's just food. And but it isn't. He says, the first food, and he says, you look at food and you're almost in your mind interviewing it, and it's like, hi, I'm nutrition, I'm good food, I feed your body, I give you vitamins and enzymes and minerals, and I make your body healthy and strong. The second group of food is entertainment food. Entertainment food's interview goes like, hi, I'm entertainment, I taste really good, but you're going to feel like crap in about an hour, I'm probably going to put some weight on you. And and you're going through this. Then he says you have the last category of food, and it's your addictive food. And it's like, hi, I'm addictive food. Once you start eating me, you can't stop eating. You're going to gain tons of weight. You're going to feel really bad for days after you eat me. And I'm telling you, you start looking at food, either is it nutrition, is it entertainment, or is it an addiction? And you start looking at your food in a different way. And that's the thing, is we need to start looking at our food in a different way.
Well, we are going to start a community in February that's going to be a safe place for people to do these things, ask questions. We're going to have staff members available to be answering the questions in that community, that Zenith community, for the users. We have an 8-week challenge coming in February. We have so much coming. I do want to end on a testimonial before we bring Fred on. My husband is sitting here patiently. So Scott has, as I said, Michelle's been on it like me for the 5.5 months. Scott typically, we know this about him. He has very poor digestion, allergic, very strong allergy to gliadin and gluten and all that fun stuff. So the minute he eats anything with gluten, he blows up in his belly. And I can tell when he's eating it, even if I didn't see him eat it, because I'm like, ooh, you can see the inflammation. And then he has this great flat belly when he's eating clean, right? So he's decided, 5 days, Sunday?
Sunday.
So tell them what so he decided to do something different with his ingesting Zenith.
So last week, as many of you guys know, we traveled. We were out in Salt Lake. We met with corporate, and we also went to Laguna Beach, California, and met with the formulators. And we discussed many things, best practices. And one of the things they did recommend, if anybody has poor digestion, is to open the capsules up and put them in anything really. Applesauce, yogurt.
You can sprinkle it on your food, right? Yeah. Yogurt, protein shake.
I've actually put it on a bagel one day. It was a keto bagel, just to be clear on that. So as of Sunday, I've only taken it out of the capsule. I've been putting it with basically a big tablespoon of yogurt.
Greek yogurt, yeah.
Yep, Greek yogurt, low fat, low sugar. And been eating it 3 times a day. I use smaller capsules, and it's not great. I will admit, it makes it a little pasty, but it's not bad. There's no taste to it. It just makes it a little clumpy. And since then, I feel better than I have since we started the product.
His hunger is like, from what I'm seeing him consume, like half of what he would normally eat when he was taking the capsules whole. And he has not been seeing them in the toilet. I want to make it clear. He was just someone with poor digestion who may not have been getting the full effect. And tell her about when you weighed in this morning.
So I kind of plateaued for a little bit. Still felt good. I think I looked pretty decent. But this morning I checked and I had lost probably about 6 pounds since Sunday. And last night between last night and this morning, I lost 3 pounds.
So 6 total. The point is what we have found when we spoke with the formulator, and just as Michelle has demonstrated, and Dr. Rimka, if you are someone, most people have leaky gut, guys, especially in the United States. Most people have gut issues. Opening the capsules, which I started doing last night, and I did it all day today, I noticed a difference already, and I don't have really poor digestion. I have low stomach acid, so that's why I have to take it an hour prior. I don't have to wait now. I put it in the yogurt, take it, and I am noticing a major difference already. So I just wanted to share that.
Whenever it comes to these products, though, I am curious of how well it does work because, like, granted, I don't wouldn't want to take a lot of them because I don't want to have like a lot of energy like they try to do, or like the possible like weight loss. I don't want any of that. I would want weight gain, but I just these testimonials are always the thing that get me. It's funny how they're like, this is the actual anecdotal truth. Like, this is why we need you to buy this product, and it's not the greatest reasons. Because most times they're discouraging you from actually talking to a doctor, going to a physician, and having them actually help you out. They're just here to sell a product. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, at first you're like, oh, open capsules. But until we have a beverage form of Zenith, which we're working on, it's so much better to open them if you think you're not getting the full result. So I thought that was really cool data to share, because here's someone who's been on it for months and really his body's radically changed, but he's noticing such a difference because his body's not having to break down the veggie capsule. And so, and Scott's doing what he does instead of two times a day, he's doing 3 times a day, but he's taking in the same amount for those of you, same milligrams. And so I want to leave you off, Michelle, on any final thoughts, and then I'm just going to bring Fred on for like 3 minutes because he wants to share something about the clinical that I think is really powerful.
No, again, if anyone's kind of having a few struggles or anything, you just give it time. The body, like even with Scott, when it's adjusting, it'll run like that. And then he might hit another plateau where he doesn't, and the body's going to adjust. You just have to be patient. There's a lot going on that I'm finding. It's just not that simple as we would all like it to be. And the biggest thing is manage your expectations with your clients. Don't let them think that it's just a pill and they're going to be skinny and they can eat whatever they want.
That is so true. You are amazing. Thank you so much. I know this is going to get shared all over the place, and it's going to be an incredible resource. And I could not thank you enough. You are amazing. And I learned something from you every time you're on. Fred, if you're on, I want you to share about the clinical, because what you said today meant so much to me. It reinforced that when Scott and I went off and weren't watching our caloric intake and weren't caring about what we were putting in our bodies, like Michelle said, it was a whole different story with Zenith. So if you want, you can unmute. Let me know if you're there. Awesome.
Oh, I'm here. So, look, Christmas ready.
Love it. This is Fred and Missy.
Merry Christmas. So, I just piggyback off what Michelle said, right? Oh, we'll keep in character. Hey. So, just to piggyback off what Michelle said, obviously, right? Make sure you're getting 7-8 hours of sleep. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. There's just so many factors involved. Make sure, you're getting out in the sun, right? Get out in the sun.
Yes.
But like I told, Danielle, me and Missy, we have almost 1,300 members on our team. Majority of the people having great results.
1,300? 1,300. How many is underneath those 1,300 people then? Because that's a big team. That's a big freaking team. How much are these people buying that these two people have to be in the top of their pyramid right now? Because that's what it comes down to. 1,300? That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I never know how many people are actually on most teams sometimes, and that's a big number. 1,300?
But for the people who aren't having great results, we have to think about the study, right? And as I was talking with Danielle today, it was a controlled study where the people were in a caloric deficit for 8 weeks. Okay, so here's what I want you to think about. Okay, so if you're going out here and you're eating more than your body burns in a day, right? So I even looked this up for you. I'm gonna be quick, Danielle. So if you look this up right here, if you can see it, look up your average BMR. The average BMR for a woman's about 1,500 calories. The average BMR for a man's about 1,800 calories. So what that actually means is if you didn't do no type of exercise and you just live in your daily activity life for your organs and for your body to function,
right.
For a woman is about 1,500 calories a day, and for a man's about 1,800 calories. So what you have to think about is if you're consuming more calories than that, your body's not sending a signal to your brain to burn nothing.
Right.
Okay? That's what you have to realize. If you're consuming more food than you're not in a caloric deficit, then guess what? Your brain's not getting the signal. Your body's not even sending a signal to be in a caloric deficit. So therefore, you can take it. It's going to have other effects and reduce your inflammation and those type of things. Right. But you're not getting the max benefits. See, what you have to think about when someone says they're going to go on a diet or they're trying to get healthy and they're trying to lose weight, I immediately automatically think, well, okay, this person realizes that they have to consume less calories than they burn in a day. So for me, I just think about it in general. So I just want to share with you how I have my best results and how the people I help have the best results. And I focus on 3 500-calorie meals a day. And when I have my best results, I even got my shake here. I'll do 2 shakes a day. I'll take my Zenith 30 minutes before. I'll take my shake about 12 or 1 o'clock. I'll take another one about 3 or 4, and then I eat my dinner. I eat a sensible dinner. I most of the time eat steak, chicken. I eat some type of protein to keep my protein intake up. And in fact, I want to tell y'all a funny story is that when I was doing this and I'm having all these great results and stuff, I'm telling Missy, I was like, yeah, these 2 shakes in a day and a great meal. I was like, man, this is like the plan of a lifetime to help people lose weight. They don't consume so many calories. It's a way to cut back your calories. I said, I'm going to tell everybody about this. It's going to be great. She looked at me and she's like, it's already been done. And I was like, what are you talking about? She said, you ever heard of Slim Fast? 2 shakes and a sensible meal.
A shake for breakfast, shake for lunch, and a sensible
And so I was like,
Except for that, Slim Fast is garbage.
Right.
And people don't understand what it's doing to their bodies.
absolutely, the stuff is garbage, but they did a great job of, guess what, of telling people, guess what, take a shake, and guess what, you can control how many calories you're consuming much easier. You can get your vitamins and minerals. So for me, that's what's great for me. Other people who've done this, what's great for them, you're consuming about 500 calories a meal. And then guess what, if you add in 30 minutes of exercise, you know that you're going to be in a caloric deficit most time. So for me, I don't really like to count a lot of calories. I know if I do this routine, it works, right? So
you know what? On top of that, Fred, I'm going to add again. I'm like you. I never ask anybody to do anything I'm not willing to do. I don't count calories. I hate it. So a simple plan for everybody. We'll just give you simple. What I've taught with my meal plan is, you know, you want to make sure that you're having protein, low glycemic carbs, and some healthy fats for each meal. I love a protein shake. I do at least one a day. That's part of my lifestyle. But, you know, a serving of protein is the inside of the palm of your hand. A portion of carbs is going to be a size of your fist.
Yeah.
And your portion of fat is going to be your thumb. You just know as you're eating, okay, am I getting enough? And then you'll know. And I like the 4 meals a day. I one of my partner that I work with, she does what's called 4-3-2-1. You have 4 meals a day, 30 grams of protein, 20 grams of carb, 10 grams of fat. So whatever works for you, but you have to do something, like he said, and you need to get moving. And the closer you are to where you want to be with your weight, the more aggressive you have to get on those things.
And let's touch on one thing, because you guys are brilliant with what you're sharing. Most people are saying in their heads right now, I guarantee, I don't want to do that. I've done that before and I didn't lose weight. Let me tell you what you didn't have then. You didn't have the power of Zenith assisting you. It's an assist. It's a
Oh my gosh. Never ends.
tool that when combined with caloric deficit, not a crazy deficit. You don't have to starve. We need to feed our body. But when you do a caloric deficit, and in the clinical, it was 500 less calories a day, that's 1 Starbucks latte. That's, don't eat that sugary candy bar on your way home from work that you hide from everyone. Don't go after dinner and, you know, forget to take your Zenith and then eat chips and ruin what you did for the day. 500 calories was all they did, which is not a lot to cut out, right? And they walked in the lab, and they did get nutritional counseling once a week to get their mind right, like Michelle said, which was brilliant, which, by the way, we just hired for the Awakened Self Advisory Board someone who teaches why you hold on to fat, what emotional traumas, why are you patting yourself, why is food and fat why is it really on your body? And I know him personally. He coached me years ago, and he got me away from food addiction. And he's brilliant, him and his wife. And they're on board now, and you're going to meet them, and you guys are going to learn from them. And what Michelle said about why are you holding on to that fat? What's in those cells? Your cells have cellular memory. So I want to thank you guys, because between being held accountable for what you're eating, you don't have to eat perfect, but you do need to be eating well, and getting some movement, park farther away, take the stairs, do some squats when you're, you know, in your kitchen, put on a pedometer like Scott and I.
There's not a whole lot left to this video, but I just get irked when I hear people who aren't doctors or physicians or anything speak on this stuff and say it's a good idea. It's not a good idea. They only care about getting more people under them and getting more money from the people that they're getting underneath them as a pyramid. So please do not listen to them. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you soon. Let me know what you think. And I know this might be a little older of a video, but I wanted to talk about it. So I'll see you soon. Bye.